What's happening? What's happening, Rockies fans? How y'all doing? Good morning. Let me make sure I get this set up here. Alrighty. We already have 5 people watching from X. If you're watching on YouTube or Instagram, welcome on in. If you have any questions, share your comments, your thoughts on the breaking news this morning coming out of Colorado here. A lot to talk about, huh? Right? Right? Come on, guys. No, seriously though. I was just doing my normal business. We got Rocks fan on X. It's about time. That's right. Good to see you, Rocks fan. I was just doing my regular business, and I saw the announcement by the Rockies on the Instagram, and I was a little bit shocked. I was not expecting it to be this quick, but yeah, and I'm not sure if Tom or Adam is going to come on in. I told them in our group chat if they want to come in, they can. I know Adam's working quite a bit, and he was just doing his Bronx Bros stuff yesterday night. So, yeah, this is the right move. And I know previously on this podcast, we have shared our thoughts on Bill Schmidt. I personally liked him as a scout. I think he did a very good job in developing and drafting some of these younger players, right? I think we all can agree with that. Now, don't get me wrong here. I think my mic might be.
Let me know if the mic is the mic better now. Let me know in the chat. I think the mic was a little bit off. Is my mic good? Let me guys, let me know. All right, we got a bunch of people coming in on Instagram. Good to see you guys. How you doing? A lot of people on an X. This is awesome. Let's blow the stream up. All right. And I think we're the first Rockies content creating team to Mike is chilling. Okay. All righty. I think we're good. But yeah, so this is a step in the right direction. And I think for him to step down, I mean, I know some people say, well, we should have fired him, but still to step down, it takes a lot of guts to do that. And at least Bill Schmidt knew that something had to change. So hats off to him. And I thought he wasn't that bad as a GM. It's just obviously the ownership. We can say that. Man, awesome. Thank you, Rocks fan. Appreciate it. So yeah, I think the mic was off. So there we go. We're fixing stuff over here. And again, guys, I just threw this stream together in like 5 minutes. So, on your opinion, how long will it take for the Rockies to become relevant? Well, it depends. And first thing, I think we all can agree that the Rockies, first of all, should look for a president of baseball operations. The Rockies, as of right now, I think are the only team in Major League Baseball that do not have a president of op. And that's what they need. First off, they need a president of operations so that he can hire his own GM. That's the first thing. The Rockies do not have that. Technically, they do not have that. I think there might be somebody under that title. I'm not sure if it's one of the Monfort sons, but yeah, I think Dick Monfort might be acting as president. I might be wrong, or is it Rosenthal or somebody like that? But yeah, the Rockies officially do not have a president of baseball operations, and that's what they need. But for the thing that caught me off guard a little bit, and I'm very happy that they said this, is that the Rockies, and they said this on the Instagram and Facebook, you can go check it out right now, that they are going to go externally for GM. And because if you look at Bill Schmidt, he was an internal hire, right? Because previously Bill Schmidt was a scout for the Rockies. He was the guy that drafted Nolan Arenado, Troy Tulowitzki, a bunch of those guys, right? So again, like I said, Bill Schmidt had a good record of drafting and developing players. Some players, I should say. And then previously, who did we have? Jeff Bridich. And Bridich was, I believe, in the analytics department before he became a GM. I might be wrong. Again, if you guys know, I wish Adam or Tom was here because, again, I forget these stuff so easily. But Jeff Bridich was in an internal hiring right after, I believe, Dan O'Dowd was fired or let go. I forget. I think he was fired. But Dan O'Dowd, if I'm not mistaken, came over from Cleveland. So technically he wasn't an internal hiring, even though he might have been an internal hiring from a certain point. So looks like we got Adam here. Let me add him here. Adam. Right.
Morning.
Good morning, Adam. How are we feeling? How are we feeling, man?
I mean, it's good news, obviously, for
Yeah.
everybody, but I think also we need to take in consideration, and I posted this on my Instagram. They need to hire a president of baseball
Yep.
operations
Yep.
because we need a baseball guy making baseball decisions. So you need to hire a president of baseball operations, let him hire his GM, his manager, and
Mhm.
then we're off and running. Because I don't know, I don't trust them hiring the GM. That's
Right.
the problem.
Yeah. And I told this to my brother right before I started. You know who's going to be available on the market? Mosaic, and he was a former Rockies executive back in the day. So that's my worst fear is that hey, we're going to bring back Mosaic. He had success in St. Louis, but it's just like that. We know St. Louis where they're going. You know, Arenado's gone this offseason. That's almost a fact. Unless if they can't find any trade suitors or whatever. Um, I'm gonna Google it now. This is when I wish we had Tom because Tom is very good at this. I'm looking for like available baseball GMs that are available right now on the market. Baseball GMs. uh, is the Cubs GM from 2018? Is he available or no? Does he have a job somewhere?
I don't know who that would have been. Is
Yeah,
that Theo Epstein?
maybe. I don't know. Would that be Mike Rizzo? He was fired this year from the Nationals. I don't
Mike
know if he.
Rizzo would be a guy, but
Yeah.
he likes to spend money, so we would
Yeah,
have
but
to.
Dick Monfort would maybe not want that. I don't know. We'll wait and see. Gabe Kapler, that's been another guy that I think has been mentioned as a potential GM in the future. Um, I don't know, guys. You know, guys, if you're watching on Instagram or X, do you have any suggestions of who the Rockies should look for in a GM? I mean, we are obviously know that they like to say externally, but then they in fact go internally or have had internal connections with the Rockies. Oh, we've liked this guy for a long time, and I told this to our followers, Adam, just a minute ago, that at least they recognize the fact and they put it on their social medias external. So I was happy to see that because again, for a long time we've seen internal hirings. You know, Bill Schmidt internal, Jeff Reich internal, and I think this is the last time. The last time the Rockies went quote external was Dan O'Dowd because he previously was with Cleveland. So
I think Mozeliak would be a very bad option
yeah,
because the Cardinals have not seen a lot of success. They haven't seen a lot of good player development recently either, and
yeah,
that's something
yep.
that the Rockies are
Jordan
going.
Walker.
Yeah, they're going to
Yep.
have to be good at player development because that's how the Rockies are going to build teams.
Yeah.
Somebody from like the Brewers,
Mhm.
somebody
Rays.
from the Rays, the Marlins, they always
Yeah,
know
yeah.
how to develop young
Kim
talent in those
Kim,
organizations.
contact Kim. Maybe she'd wanna come here. Dude, I would welcome I mean, she did a really good job with what she
Can,
did with Miami.
oh,
Kim
okay, yeah,
N,
yeah.
whatever her name is. Yeah,
There
and
is a young lady who is going to be an up and coming GM name from the Orioles, Eve Rosenbaum.
yeah,
She's
Rosenbaum.
the
Yep.
assistant GM for the
Yeah.
Orioles.
Mhm. Mhm.
But again, the GM for me doesn't matter as much as hiring a president of baseball operations. They
Yeah.
need to do that, and then that guy can make all the baseball or lady can make
Yeah.
all the baseball decisions, and
Yeah.
that's what needs to happen for the Rockies, in my opinion. So
Yeah. Colton says on Instagram, Charlie Blackman for GM.
no,
Yeah.
no.
I would call up Theo Epstein to see what he's up to. That is said by Mr. Vallejos. Awesome to see him in the chat here on Instagram. Yeah, I think I don't know, man. It's. I mean, I'm happy, no question. It's just like because a part of me was like, okay, when are the Rockies making moves? Because everybody else is. I mean, and not to mention, right before we started, Brian Snicker is out as manager for the Braves, and he is a great manager. And it would be awesome if he was a manager here in Colorado. But I am fine with Warren Schaefer. It was not his problem that he had to deal with. I thought he did actually a pretty good job, and I would not be surprised. And I think he's going to come back, given the 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 comments that he made the other day about competition next year for the team. Um, Caden says on Instagram, let me pull it up here. Do you think that they really are going to look outside to fill this position? Showering their past, I worry that they won't.
Well, they came out and blatantly said it.
They
so
said
yes.
externally.
And they are feeling the bottom line now. This is
Yep.
this is what happens when the team loses 100 games. People don't show up. I mean, the away visitors are still, or the
so
away
bad.
fans are still showing up, but
Yep.
they know that this is going to be a downward trend, and they can't do this anymore. So
yep. And hats off to Bill. I mean, I know a lot of people are wishing that they fired Bill Schmidt, but it takes a lot of guts for Bill Schmidt to step down and know that, hey, there's a problem here. I need to get out of here. I need to. This team needs to get better. And I really hope, in some ways, I think we've shared this before, and I think we might have mentioned this when Bud Black got fired on when we did a pod about that. But we probably mentioned something like if Bill Schmidt were to ever get fired or step down, we would still like to see him in the organization as like working as a scout. Scout only. Don't promote him to a president. I mean, it's just get a new president from outside the organization, then get an outside GM that's hired by the president of operations. And this is when I wish that Kelly McGregor was still around, but he probably wouldn't be liking what he's seeing right now. But it just that when he passed away, rest in peace. This franchise just fell apart.
They haven't had a president of baseball operations since then.
Yeah, and that was 2010.
I think so.
Yeah. Mr. Vallejo says, "What are your dream combo for GM and manager?" I think, man, listen.
I've got one. If you don't,
go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just looking quickly here, Tampa Bay Rays. It's got to be someone from an organization like that where the Rockies are going to run similarly. So Carlos Rodriguez is vice president and assistant GM for the Tampa Bay Rays. And so if you're looking to give a guy a job, I think that's a good one. And then your manager should be Skip Schumacher.
Yeah. He did a great job. I mean,
he did a great job
with a young team. Playoffs with a young team. Yep. And of course, they had to face the best team in baseball that year, the Phillies. But the Marlins, they went to the playoffs, and like you said, it was a young team. And they had a bunch of veterans. Jacob Stallings was on that Marlins team, and they somehow went to the playoffs, and they won over 90 games, if I'm not mistaken, Adam. That's crazy. But yeah, I mean, it's just it's possible. I mean, Miami, we already know. I mean, they were competitive this year. And I think they're on the uptrend, but they have to make the right moves this offseason. But we already know that their ownership, kind of like the Rockies, they can do weird things. Carlos says on Instagram, manager Skip Schumacher or Gabe Kapler. I'd probably lean Skip Schumacher because I know the Rockies are like, oh, Gabe Kapler, former Rocky, let's hire him. With the Giants, he did a horrible job.
He was a disaster. He was a disaster.
Was it only 1 year, 1 or 2 years with the Giants?
Yeah, because the players hated him.
The clubhouse was bad. And the Giants, they fired what's his name? Their manager.
Bob Melvin.
Yeah, he's gone. So
no, he's not a fit here.
No.
We need someone who can groom and develop a young team, a young up-and-coming team, a team that should be competitive within the next year or two.
The only guy, again, we mentioned his name multiple times, the only guy that would be a potential possibility because he did manage a younger team, even though he had veterans on that 2016 team, Joe Madden. But again, Joe Madden, he's been out of baseball. He needs to retire. He's old. I think Warren Schaefer, he's been a player. He's young. Matter of fact, I mean, again, Charlie Blackmon and him are roughly around the same age in the Warren Schaefer. So I think Warren Schaefer is right now. I'm fine with him being manager next year. But why not look for options? Don't be like, okay, we're going to have Warren Schaefer next year. Okay, great. But why don't you just try looking around? And first off, maybe hire a president of baseball operations, then get your GM, and then decide what you're going to do at manager, right? Don't do manager, GM, and then president of baseball operations or vice versa. The Rockies, they need to do the right things in order because it just feels like okay, we're going to get a new GM. Okay, well, great. But first of all, we need a new president of baseball operations because we have hiring over. Yeah.
Who's hiring the GM? That's the problem. Is it Walker Monfort? Because that ain't going to work for me.
No. Yeah. Because isn't he acting as technically president of baseball operations? Or is it? It might be Dick. But I mean,
they all need to be out of that realm. I don't care. I'm not a huge. I mean, I would support them selling the team, of course, to somebody who wants to spend more money on the roster, but they don't have to sell the team. They have to
step down,
stop making baseball decisions.
Yeah, leave that to the GM, leave that to the president of baseball operations.
That's why you need a president of baseball operations.
Exactly.
Period. So if they're not going to hire a president of baseball operations, I don't feel like this is going to do much.
No, that's the thing that I'm worried about. Because they could bring in a great person, but ultimately Dick Monfort still has the final say. And it's just like that should not be the case, because we see in Pittsburgh their ownership is the final say, not Ben Cherington. He's a puppet for the owner, so it's just like that's not the way it should be. It just and hopefully the next CBA they deal all this crap, but yeah, I will say though, like I do want to have some positivity here. We're not trying to be negative over here at Rockies now, but we are happy that at least a move is getting done. Bill Schmidt, since he took over, the Rockies have just gotten worse and worse. And I mean, we're gonna tear the cover off, tear the Band-Aid off the wound here. I mean, it's gotten worse. I mean, 2021, the Rockies were at one point surprisingly a wild card contending team, and given the fact that we did not have Arenado, I remember the Rockies. I think we were still in September. We were only like 5, 6, 7 games back from the wild card, and 2022. That's really when the bad stuff happened. And so this is the right move. But the thing is, what are the Rockies going to do with that right move? And the good thing is that they're going to go externally. But again, did they say anything? This is from Creed on Instagram. Did they say anything about hiring a president of baseball operations? No, I don't think so, Adam.
They didn't. That's the problem. That is the problem.
Yep. Yeah. Because once they do that, then they can.
Then that guy's in charge. He's in charge. He makes all the decisions.
Dick Monfort is like, okay, well, we'll hire people outside of the organization. Yeah, but you cannot be a part of that decision making. It's even though he's the owner, and while he technically is the one that hires the president of baseball operations, he doesn't want to give up that position of being the team god, so to speak.
Well, two things can be true at once, right? We can be happy that Bill Schmidt was fired.
I
mean, he did not step down.
Yeah.
I don't believe that he stepped down. I think that people fired. They try to be politically correct these days, and they won't say that people are fired. Yeah. They say they parted ways or he stepped down or whatever.
Yeah, well, they said the same thing about Bill Schmidt. Not Bill Schmidt. Jeff Bryce stepped down. I disagree. I think he was fired. He was fired from what he did with Arenado, because Dick Monfort loved Arenado. That was the reason why they got tickets in 2019 when they were so bad. And when Jeff Bryce traded him, Dick Monfort said, "You're out because we're no longer to get good tickets anymore."
Here's the thing too. If you're allowing someone to step down after a 100 loss season, then that's a problem in and of itself. He should be fired.
3 years of 100 loss seasons.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly. Yeah. He didn't step down. He was fired.
Yeah.
So anyway, going on from that, it's great that he's not going to be in that position anymore. That's fantastic news.
Mm-hmm.
But what are they going to do with it? That's the question, right? And I think that's fair.
It all leads up to ownership. Yeah.
President of baseball operations needs to be hired, or this becomes a shuffling of the chairs on the Titanic, if you will. Some more of that from the Rockies, with under the guise that they're making big changes, when really it's just the Monforts now bringing someone from the outside into the Rockies organization to tell them, yeah, we're not spending money. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. So I think if anyone's going to interview for this job, they're going to have to tell the Monforts, look, you're going to hire me for this job. I need to be able to do my job. I am not going to be
your puppet.
I'm not going to be chained to you. I'm not going to be like, hey, can we spend this much money, this much money? If you want to win, that's what I'm here to do. And if you're not interested in doing that, then, I got to walk.
Yeah. And the nice thing is that, some people, and I think this was on Foul Territory, there's been talk about, nobody would want to be a GM here. I actually disagree. I think there's a lot of people that would I want to turn that franchise around. This is an opportunity here. I mean, you just look at, I mean, I'm sure, a bunch of guys like Theo Epstein might want to come here as long as he's like, hey, I want full control. If he was to be a president of baseball operations, and that's what you're saying, they want full control. They don't want to be like, well, okay, Dick, if I'm going to be president of baseball operations, you need to stay out of it. Like I'm making all decisions. I'm hiring my GM, and I don't know. Hopefully the Rockies do that. I mean, again, they're making the announcement of getting a new GM, but first step again, and they haven't announced it yet. But that's the first thing that they should do. And it's going to be a long offseason. I'm glad that they did this. I mean, they should have done this a long time ago, Adam. I think we can both agree on that. They should have fired Bill Schmidt a while ago. But at least they did it, 2 days after the season and not like in December, and they're rushing to find somebody. That hats off to the Rockies there. Like they made this decision right away rather than like in January or February, right before spring training, because that will hurt your franchise. Because now you have like no direction. You don't know what you're doing. The Rockies now are going to be looking, and I don't want them to announce their new GM tomorrow. That's not searching outside, really. We do have a bunch of comments here from Instagram. Josh says, so does a new GM even mean anything? Because it all starts with ownership. That's what we're saying. First off, like again, president of baseball operations. Austin says there's a lot of problems right now for the Rockies, but I was tired of the same thing every year. You and us both, Austin. So I'm happy with this. Absolutely. And then Carlos says Jeff Kingston for president of baseball operations. Bring in somebody that is used to a winning culture. Have you heard of Jeff Kingston?
I have not.
I'm looking him up right now. But yeah, really good comments here. Dodgers. Ooh.
Hey.
Why not? Assistant GM, vice president of baseball operations.
That's a good one.
Dude,
that's a good one.
And guess what? Following 9 seasons with the Seattle Mariners.
Well, I should have known that, I guess. But he wasn't ever the GM, so
maybe not. I don't know. But no, hey.
I don't know who the assistant GMs are.
By the way, Adam, congratulations on your Mariners winning the AL West.
Yes, sir.
And Cal Raleigh, dude. Like
MVP.
If he doesn't win MVP, it's rigged. It's like, come on, 60+ home runs. I mean, you're never going to see that ever again.
Probably not from the catcher, no.
Unless if I don't know who's like if his son. Does he have a son yet? Is he married? I think he's married, right?
I think he is married. I'm not sure if he has.
Maybe his son will hit 70. I don't know.
Put me on the spot, Steven.
Yeah, I am.
If the Mariners don't make it to the World Series, which I'm praying that they do.
Yeah.
I'm still in line for my World Series prediction.
You are
this year. Toronto and Philadelphia. It's right there for the taking. So we'll see.
Yeah, I wasn't able to watch yesterday's games, but yeah, man. It's kind of, I mean, Detroit, they're looking pretty solid this year. And then Chicago, watch out for them. I mean, again, they've been underrated. I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, wait till Chicago loses in the playoffs. Look, they look really good yesterday. They have home field advantage again tonight against the Padres. The Cubs might be a fun team to watch this postseason. Yankees, I got to say, I like the Red Sox a little bit more. They're riding into the postseason. I do think that the Yankees need more offense, man. I just feel like they're not clicking all the way. There are some concerns with their pitching, obviously, but and then and the Mariners, you're playing the division series, right? You don't have to play the wild card series, so that's nice. So. And it's even better because we don't have the Astros in the playoffs. Let's go.
Yeah, man, that's the best part.
It's been so long. I mean, the last time the Astros weren't in the playoffs was like 2016, so almost a decade. So it's been awesome. But hey, we got a Mariners fan here, Scott Blanchard. Scott, good to see you.
Oh, hey, that's my buddy. He supports us. He's a Mariners fan, but he supports the podcast. So
hey, awesome. Good to have you, Scott, here on YouTube. Again, if you're watching on Instagram, X, or YouTube, thank you so much. Feel free to like and subscribe to the Rockies Now channel. The podcast is officially back. We were talking about this morning in the group chat that we're going to try to get a podcast here going. But of course, I know you're going to be busy tomorrow, Adam, and but we're going to try to get some podcasts going once a week for the podcast. So we're excited about that. Getting back into the content here. and even more reason why, given the news of today for the Rockies. So again, thank you so much everyone for commenting. If you have any comments or questions, let us know. Austin says on Instagram, I think the Brewers take it all. I think this is the year Brewers actually do something, because every year they choke in the first round. This if they choke, I'm sorry, but like this cannot happen. Phillies,
I don't see that.
yeah, dude.
I don't see them winning anything.
Philadelphia. I think it could be Philadelphia and Milwaukee in the NLCS. I think Philadelphia. This is their year to win the World Series, because this is, as we mentioned at the start of the year when we were doing our predictions, this is the year, man, because they have a lot of older players, a lot of players going on free agency next year. Philadelphia, this is World Series or bust. If they lose in the division series NLCS, you're going to see a lot of changes over there in Philadelphia.
Well, Philadelphia is going to have to play the Dodgers in their first series. So
and, I love how the Reds made the playoffs. Congratulations to them, but there's no way. The Dodgers, the Reds are just. I mean, I'm happy the Reds made it, but it's just like, I don't know, man. I feel like it would have been a little bit more competitive if it was the Mets and the Dodgers. I'm just saying that, but I am happy the Mets missed out on the playoffs. I don't like the Mets, but yeah. Austin said, I want Trevor Story to get a ring, dude. Same. I don't. I'm not the biggest fan of the Red Sox. I'm not the biggest fan of the Red Sox. I know, Adam, you have your take on it and your opinion on it, but as a Trevor Story stan, again, follow me on X. As a Trevor Story stan, I want to see him win. I'm so happy that he's had a big year, bounce back year this year, and I do hope that he has some chance of playing. I mean, he's playing the playoffs for the first time in 2018, and so I'm happy for Trevor here. So I do agree with you.
If it means the Mariners aren't in the World Series, sorry, Trevor. No can do, buddy. But if they're out, if the Mariners are out, sure, I'll root for Trevor so he can win a ring.
Yeah. And then we have another comment here. What's your guess the ETA to the bigs on Condon and Holiday? Again, we'll talk about this later in another episode, but I'll briefly share that I think we might see Condon next year, but I think we can say that he's probably still going to be starting in AA. Don't rush him. I think maybe for a week or two, have him in AA, then call up Condon to Albuquerque. Holiday 2027. That's my prediction.
I think we're going to see them both next year.
Oh, you think we're going to see them both next year? I mean, I Condon, yes, but Holiday, no. I don't think so for Holiday.
No, Condon won't make the team out of spring training, but he'll be up pretty soon after that, and then Holiday, we'll see him at the end of the year, I think.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, good comment there. Yeah, Adam. I mean, again, we're gonna keep this short. We have stuff to do this morning, but
yes, we do.
But yeah, it's a right step. But again, it's what matters with the next step. Are the Rockies? Are they gonna take it in consideration? Are they gonna rush it? I pray that they don't.
When's the presser?
What?
When's the presser?
Dude, that's the thing. The Rockies have never, like, the last time they had a presser that was to the public on like MLB.com, I think was like when we hired Jeff Bridich or when we signed Ian Desmond. I'm being honest. Or no,
two of the worst moves we've ever made.
Well, I take that back. I think they did a presser on like 7 News when we extended Nolan Arenado. I think
they did one for Chris Bryant too, I think.
Oh yeah, that's right. So so the last time was Chris Bryant, but it just we need to see more pressers. I know a lot of them have, like, a lot of those pressers have been like for bad reasons or bad signings, but still, like, people want to hear you talk, and rather than hide behind a curtain and say, okay, this is it's just like, they're cowards. I'm gonna go out and say they're cowards. But hey, good job. This is the good start. Keep going.
Schedule the presser.
Schedule it. This is what we want, not because we want to make. No, we want to hear your thoughts. Why is this happening?
The media needs to be able to ask questions, and I know for a fact that they would ask, "Are you going to hire a president of baseball operations?" They would ask.
Exactly. Yes. And I hope they ask that question. Because that's clearly obvious. Because again, the Rockies. I mentioned this when I came in here. The Rockies are the only team in baseball, and that might be one of the only teams in sports that does not have a president of baseball operations, which says a lot. Austin says, I don't want Holiday in the leagues too fast. Give the kid time. I agree with Austin there. But if he says he's ready, I mean, you do look at Jackson, though. I mean, his first year and a half was slow, but Jackson's coming around now. So But yeah, and then Aiden says 100% cowards. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man, it's just like, come on, like Dick, you know what you need to do. Like again, you said you don't have to sell the team. You just need to give up your role. Give up, maybe you can still be owner, but just like let it go. Like you don't have to worry about that, because I feel like if you said, hey, I'm tired of this, making all these decisions, I'm going to leave it up to you. I'm still going to own the team. I love the team. I'm going to leave it up to you. That would be a massive burden off your shoulders. Rather, Dick Monfort is allowing this burden to make the decisions even worse. It's like, Dick, you know what you need to do. It's not that hard. It's not that hard, right? I mean, you don't have to do this.
I think,
but yeah, he's doing it. I think he loves baseball. He's a business owner. This is what he does.
They need to follow the Broncos model. Granted, the Broncos have a long ways to go, but the Broncos said, the owners came in and said, hey, here are the football people. The football people make the football decisions. We just provide the money.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's all Dick Monfort needs to do. Provide the money to get the team better.
And by the way, the Broncos are still paying Russell Wilson, right?
Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. And look at the Broncos now. I mean, again, like you said, I mean, this is again. You shared about this on the Broncos podcast yesterday.
Bros, follow us at Bronc Bros.
Follow us at Bronc Bros. But yeah, we're gonna be releasing that pod today anyway. So but yeah, like just follow that model, man. I mean, you look at the Broncos, how they turned that thing around. I mean, you're looking at other NFL franchises or MLB franchises for that matter are still stuck in the mud, not going anywhere. Broncos, they immediately did something about it, got new ownership, and they said, this is what we're going to do. It's going to hurt. We're going to cut Russell Wilson. The Rockies, one of the things that they need to do this offseason, get rid of Chris Bryant.
Yeah, pay him to go away. Yep.
Exactly. Like, I don't care. And plus, he's almost, I feel like he's almost done his contract anyway. I mean, he only has like 2 years left, whatever it is, 2 or 3 years left. I don't care. Just get rid of him. He's just not. I don't remember the last time I saw him in the Rockies. I don't think last year.
Where's he gonna play? You got Karros, you got Carrig, you've got Condon, you've got Fernandez, you've got Ritter, Freeman. There's nowhere for him to play.
Yep.
We got Bernabell, like
massively up. All of them massively upgrades over Chris Bryant, and Chris Bryant has done nothing in Colorado, which is sad. But it shows you it was a Dick Monfort / Bill Schmidt signing, I should say. More of a Dick Monfort thing because of tickets. But anyways, that's a conversation for another time, and I'm sure we've already talked about it. But Aiden says, do you think the GM stepped down on his own or he was forced out? As we mentioned, I don't know, Aiden, you probably weren't here earlier, but we believe that he was forced out. He was fired because, again, we've seen this before. Jeff Bridich, quote, he was stepped down. More than likely, he was called into Dick Monfort's office and said, hey, you fired my favorite player of all time, somebody I called my son. He was. I think the Rockies say he stepped down, but I think he was fired. We both think he was fired.
Everybody does this now. It's like a politically correct, like let's not hurt any feelings kind of thing. They parted ways, or he stepped down. No, he got fired. He got fired, and a lot of other coaches get fired too. They just don't want to say it. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, but.
And then another comment here. I'm freezing out here. I love the username there. He says, what's your level of concern on the Rockies leaving Denver? How probable do you think that is? Not very high. No. Because you see, when the team is bad, people don't show up because of ownership. But if you look at the first ever game at Coors Field in 1995, 80,000 fans. Plus, there were people watching outside Mile High Stadium. So you're talking over 100,000 people wanting to watch a baseball game for a brand new team. And then you look at the attendance. While it was low this year, the Rockies weren't the worst. I mean, again, people love baseball. They just don't like the ownership. People love the Rockies. They just don't like the ownership, because some people say, oh, people don't like the Rockies. No. They do. They just don't like the ownership. They don't like the management. I can't tell you how many people from years ago that love the Rockies now. They're just like, I'm not watching them anymore. It's just it's that. Yep. And
the Rockies need to earn fans
back. Exactly. And so it's not like the Rockies don't have fans. They do. As a matter of fact, the Rockies have probably one. I mean, we have the Rocky Mountain region, Montana, Idaho, You know, Nebraska, parts of Kansas, parts of Texas, even. You know, where Amarillo, that's kind of close to Rocky Mountain. I mean, there's a big area. I mean, it's just there's Rockies fans there. It's just that they're not invested in the team right now. Why? The team is horrible, man. It's just like nobody
The team's
wants to
not
watch this.
invested in them.
Exactly. Why would I want to invest in a team when the ownership doesn't invest in improving the ball club? You know, it's just like why? Why care? But yeah. The real Eric Brown on Instagram says, you know, Bryant is gone because of all their jerseys have been on clearance rack since July. That's a good point. I haven't been on Lids or Fanatics in a while, but that is a good point.
I'm on there too much, Steven.
Hey, you know, once I get a regular setup here, I'm gonna start buying more merch and put it on my wall like yours. Again, hats off to Adam, man. Like I love the background. Can we get claps in the chat for Adam here? I mean, gotta love the commitment there.
It's not even close to what I planned to do.
You're working on it. You're still working on it. I mean, you moved in that place. Was it like earlier this year or last? Yeah. Dude, I love your new setup. I mean, the last one was good, but this one is like like the couch and everything. Gotta love it.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, I agree with Eric there that Bryant, you know, it's kind of like Russell Wilson when he left. His jerseys were on sale. Like at Shields, I got my Russell Wilson jersey at Shields. It was only like $53. So I don't know. Maybe that's the Rockies. Maybe they have gotten rid of him, but they don't want to admit or they want to say anything like, "Hey, he's out." But if we were to say he's out, we would get a bunch of hate comments. But do they deserve it? Yes. Eric says Bryant's gone. His jerseys have been on the clearance rack since the All-Star break. Yeah, it's just I'm freezing out here. Says so true. I'll be a Rockies fan forever. They're just so tough to watch lately. Absolutely, and that's literally the entire fan base of the Rockies. It's
that's
just
okay.
Like they love the Rockies, but they just cannot. Yeah, they just cannot anymore.
It's more than okay to say these things. You can say
absolutely.
I love the Rockies.
And that's why we're here.
Yeah, I've had, and Steven knows this, and I've admitted to this before. I've had seasons where I straight up went to Coors to root against the Rockies because I wanted the owner to sell the team.
Yes.
Like I've flirted with other teams, and I was so mad at the Rockies, and I've done that stuff too. Granted, I was a lot younger when I did that, but I've done it.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I know. And here's the thing, we want to be loyal. We're trying to be loyal as much as we can. But this year, if you follow us on Instagram, and we appreciate you guys, if you followed us on Instagram, you'd notice that there was a little bit lackluster of content in the last month or so. It's just because, first off, there's just like what's there to be excited about? What's there to post? You know, it's just like not because we don't want to. It hurt me for not to post Rockies content because that's what I love doing. I love talking to you guys. That's why there's Rocky Now. Like when Adam was saying, like, we need more Rockies fans to speak up, share their mind, share their thoughts, why they're frustrated with their team, what they like about the team and what they like about the future. That's why we're trying to get more prospects on the podcast. We would like to get our guy Rock Regio on here. He's an awesome dude. And so we're going to try to get some awesome people here. But that's why we're doing Rockies Now. We want to have Rockies fans on here, share their thoughts. That's why Adam and I and Tom are here. But it's just, man, there's just, the point is the Rockies still have a lot of work to do. First step, baseball president operations, and then get your GM. But more than likely, I'm afraid that they're going to hire their GM before they get a president of baseball operations. But
the Rockies are like, what's a good NFL comparison? Like the Jaguars, like the
Jets?
Jaguars,
the Jets, maybe.
Well, the Jets they play in a prominent market. You know,
That's
the Jaguars
true,
are like just there.
Well,
and I think the Rockies, maybe the Titans.
Yeah, the Titans maybe, and then of course before Brian Schneider sold the team, I feel like it was like the Rockies were like the Commanders, very many ways.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe. They're just like I know a lot
of their stadium was bad. Our stadium is fine. Like
I know a lot of baseball fans probably today are like, nobody cares about the Rockies. Nobody cares about this news. And I would feel the same way if like the Titans fired their GM. I'd be like, okay, whatever. Like they're not relevant, you know. And that's the problem is the Rockies
Panthers
they need to earn fans back, become relevant again, and become a threat to the other teams in the division, which they're not there. And I think, with all due respect to the guys on Intentional Talk, which sometimes their takes are just like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah. to say that nobody would want this job is disingenuous because
Yeah.
there are guys that are waiting in line for their turn to be a GM, to be a president of baseball operations, and they have a winning mindset, and they think that, oh, I can go there and turn that around. There's no question about it. Why would you think that nobody across the league would want to come here and be the first guy to come up with a new way to play baseball at Coors Field and turn this thing around? That's insane. That's a bad take.
Yeah. Yeah, and years past, I remember I want to say the Rockies might have tried this, and we have Jim here in the comments. Thank you for coming on in, Jim. The Rockies, they've been prone to say Bill Schmidt said this a while back. Well, we tried. Tried, really? Okay. And that's my worst. Another fear. We're having our like little therapy session this morning on the Rockies Now podcast. I do not want to hear those words this offseason. Well, we tried. So we just, didn't
we tried, but we settled on Mozeliak because he knew
or
the Rockies.
Charlie Blackman. Listen, we love Chuck, but he's not a guy. No. And like Clint Hurdle. No. We would love to. And by the way, we'd love to have Clint on our podcast, 100%. But Clint Hurdle should not be the manager, should not be the GM, and he shouldn't
be anything.
He's fine as a bench coach. He's fine as a bench coach. Keep him that.
If the new manager wants to keep him, sure,
yeah. I mean,
but we're not going to just keep guys around just because they're part of Rockies lore,
Exactly. That's who the Rockies are loyal to a fault.
Colorado fans have this thing where every time there's a job opening, oh, Peyton Manning should be the OC. Oh, Charlie Blackman should be the manager. No, we need to be more responsible than that and do our research and figure out who the best person is. We can't just default to whoever the Colorado legend is. It's not everybody can be Joe Sakic. Okay, you can't be a Hall of Fame hockey player and then be a Hall of Fame GM at the same time in the same career. Nobody does that. So we can't just and Charlie Blackman doesn't have any experience. There's nothing on his resume that says that he could be a GM.
He's not the type of manager. Folks, he's not the type of guy you see in a desk chair in an office. That's not Charlie. You don't see he's a fisherman. Like he could care less about office work.
He's not going to be. He's not going to be in the front office.
But anyways, here's one thing before we wrap up today, Adam. This is I know for some people this is like it hurts for us to talk about it. Nolan Arenado. Let's talk about him a little bit. So I think we can all agree that he's probably out of St. Louis. I mean, St. Louis is in a full rebuild. They're going to get rid of a bunch of their front office people. Mosaic is out, and then Chain Bloom is going to take over.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure about that still because St. Louis, there's in the ownership. I don't know. I just feel like there's weird things going on over there. The development, like you said earlier, not going great.
It's not there.
Jordan Walker, I'm not saying he's a bust yet, but it's just like they have Nolan Gorman. Great, he's probably going to be their next third baseman, right? I mean, I think he's going to hold that position very well. But Arenado, he's getting older. He's not getting any younger. Dodgers don't need him. We can say that he's not going to LA. Even though they're in years past and recently we've said, oh, he's going to go to the Dodgers. That's what he wants. Dodgers don't need him. Yankees don't need him. Who's gonna get Arenado? Like who wants him? Like I could see the Tigers. They've been rumored. Obviously, Arenado does not want anything to do with Houston. Imagine he comes back to Colorado.
So
this is a wide thing. I know he doesn't. I mean, it's not a Troy Tulowitzki situation where he doesn't want to have nothing to do with our organization. I think Arenado would consider it if Dick Monfort was out, but since Dick Monfort's still here, he's like no, because we saw the comments this summer. It's just like, the Rockies, and Arenado still loves the Rockies. I think he still cares about the fan base. He just like, the Rockies need to tear everything down in the front office management, but I don't think that's what Dick Monfort wants to do. So therefore, but again, could there be a world where Arenado comes back to Colorado? But it just, I don't know.
No. So here's the question that should be asked before we talk about any of this. Who wants him? What is the incentive for signing him right now? His numbers are down across the board. He can play good defense still, but let's not pretend that he's some sort of prized free agent or something like that, because he's not. He chose to go to St. Louis. They did the exact same thing as the Rockies the whole time and didn't win a World Series.
It didn't even win one playoff game. They made the playoffs twice, but they didn't win one single playoff game. And again, I love mentioning this fact. I'm going to mention it again. Arenado still has more playoff wins as a Rocky than as a St. Louis Cardinal, and here he left for St. Louis for greener grass. I'm not saying it's karma for him, but it just
Well, people are always like, "Well, we lost the trade." No, we didn't. What did he do there? Nothing.
I mean,
he didn't
win
an MVP.
I will say to start off, it was they did kind of win that trade, but in the long run, no, the Cardinals did not win that trade in the long run.
Nobody won the trade.
Yeah, nobody.
He did nothing there.
Yeah,
but to answer your question, they're gonna have to trade him because he's still under contract,
and they're gonna have the Cardinals are gonna have to pay that money because
nobody's gonna want to take that money on.
No,
unless it's the Padres because they're stupid and they take money on all the time. I could see him going to the Padres, but he wouldn't play third base.
I think the Angels. I think it wasn't on one of the lists for Arenado that he was considering. Like he had a list, and I think the Angels were on that list. Surprisingly, it's like
if he doesn't want to win, he can go there for sure.
Well, why not, Arenado? Go ahead.
But I don't see him going to Detroit. I don't see him landing in Houston. I mean, the Yankees need to get younger, not older.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's.
And they have McMahon, and McMahon I think is going to be there for a long time.
Yeah, Boston's not a fit.
They have Bregman.
Dude, I don't know. Dodgers, no.
Unless if they move. I mean, did they move Bregman to first base, or is that no? Okay, I thought there were rumors about him moving to first base, but
maybe. Well, maybe I don't know. I don't pay.
Yeah, again, we don't follow the Red Sox, but yeah.
I don't think so. I think they wanted to move Devers to first, and he said no.
Yeah. Eric says on Instagram, Arenado could be the new Justin Turner, 1-year contracts to fill in and be a veteran presence. That could be. Maybe. I think that's the most realistic possibility right now because again, Arenado, this is, he's on the last few years of his career most likely because again, injuries. He's been injured every single year basically since he's been in St. Louis. I think the first year or two he was healthy, but his defense is still good, but it's not as what it used to be. His bat is not. Yeah. His best and I will say this. I think you would agree with me, Adam. If Arenado retired right now, 100%, the best day of his career was in Colorado. Like that, no question. Like that's literally why he had a Hall of Fame trajectory. And he's still going to be a Hall of Fame trajectory. Don't get me wrong. But if he was to go in the Hall of Fame right now, what cap would he wear? St. Louis or Colorado? It's got to be Colorado, man. I know he would have maybe some bitterness toward the Rockies for trading him, but this is what he wanted. He wanted out.
I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer, bro.
Yeah. You think he would be a Rocky Hall of Famer?
I'm not sure he's a Hall of Famer, period.
Ooh. That's a hot take.
I'm not saying he's not in the Hall of Fame, but if you look at the standard of what a Hall of Fame hitter is, not sure he meets that. Obviously, the defense would probably get him in there, but how many guys get in there on defense alone? It's not very
much,
many.
Not much. Very small.
So I don't know. We'll have that conversation when it comes to it. But I don't find him. He's one of my favorite players of all time. But everybody gets old, right? Everybody washes out a little bit, and so I don't find him to be as valuable as he used to be, which is an obvious thing to say. I'm not making any sort of groundbreaking analysis here, but it's going to be hard for the Cardinals to find a fit there. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with that because, like you said, Philly's like on their last leg, pretty much here.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta took a step back last year. They have a great third baseman, right? I don't know where he would end up going, and I don't know who wants to take on that money. I don't know how much the Cardinals are willing to take on. Like, that's a weird situation for Arenado. So,
yeah. We have another comment on Instagram. He's not a Cooperstown ready right now. So
I'm not sure he is either.
Yeah. Eric says in the comments on Instagram, Arenado is better than Ozzie Smith offensively. What do you think about that, Adam?
I mean, that's completely correct. But again, we're talking about guys. How many guys get in on defense alone? Or primarily on their defense. Like, it's not very many.
Mm-hmm.
But that,
Yeah. And then Ty says here on YouTube, we have to bring back Mickey as our first move. I'm not going to lie. 100%. I agree with that. I know a lot of people say, oh, it was, he could have a down year. And listen, it's not like he's on a contract with us. I mean, he's under team control till next year. But it's like, hey, if he doesn't do well, we can just trade him or like cut him. Like, it's not like he's under contract for us for a while. So yeah, why not bring back Mickey and why not bring back Tyler Freeman
and Herget?
Yeah, especially with the post that we collabed yesterday or the day before. Great analysis by the guy that made that. I saw that. I'm like, yes, we're definitely doing that. And yeah.
Mickey and Herget and Freeman, I think they're all arbitration eligible. So arbitration 2 for Moniak. I think arbitration 2 for Herget too. Freeman, I'd have to look here. I do have to get going here in a second, but
yeah, absolutely. But yeah, anyway, folks, as we get ready to start wrapping things up here on the pod, thank you guys so much. Again, leave your thoughts and comments in the comments below, or either on our Instagram or X. Go follow us there. We're getting closer to 6,000 followers on Instagram, which is awesome. So yeah, if you have any last comments or questions, just let Adam or me know. What is your thoughts about the head coach or I think manager position? Think there will be a change? I think we both can say almost confidently that Warren Schaefer will be back next year. Just given the fact the comments, I mean, again, I know it's weird in Colorado, especially with the front office changes that are coming and that are happening right now. But I think we can say that Schaefer is going to be back next year, unless barring huge changes where the Rockies do get a president of baseball operations, they do get a GM, and the GM says, hey, I don't want Warren Schaefer as manager. I have a guy that I think nobody's ever heard of. We're going to come in here. We're going to fix this thing. So I don't know, but as of right now, I think it's Warren Schaefer is our best bet.
I think the Rockies are going to have that conversation with the GM. Obviously, the GM is going to want to hire his own guy. Yeah. So if the Rockies do hire an external GM, I don't think Warren Schaefer is going to be back.
Ooh. Interesting. Yeah. But like, again, I mean, originally, again, Bill Schmidt, I wasn't, to be honest with you, I wasn't expecting him to get moved on. I was expecting Bill Schmidt to be back next year, just given the fact the way the Rockies are right now and just the way that they operate. But hey, with that, maybe you're all right. Maybe Warren Schaefer is out, especially if the Rockies make a bunch of more changes, which obviously should happen. I mean, I'm
not saying he needs to go. I'm just saying based on what they're going to do. Yeah, the GM's
like the GM is not going to want to probably keep Warren Schaefer unless if it's another internal hiring. But will new GM cut Bryant? 100%. Yes. Or he should. Yeah. He should.
Yeah.
Any smart external GM would cut Bryant. And see that even though we can be down about the ownership is I'm still super. This is something to be excited about, Adam. I mean, we're gonna get an external GM, hopefully not Mozeliak or one that's had a bad history, but if we can get a good GM or somebody from like the Rays, the Marlins, the Brewers, the Dodgers, heck, I don't know about the Padres though. Probably not the Padres.
No. Reckless spending is not what we need.
No, but like one of those teams, dude. I'm excited, man. I mean, this is something Rockies fans should be excited about. Again, we don't want to get our hopes up because every time we get our hopes up, it just collapses down on us. Like I was excited about Chris Bryant coming here, and then just
I had us making the playoffs this year.
Yeah, dude. Like people don't go back and see that post. Just don't. Just forget about it. Like, just go past it. But yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited. I mean, this is the right move here. Again, we'll get to one or two last comments here. Jim says, who do you think will have a breakout season next year, or do you hope you'll have one? I really hope that we see Brenton Doyle. I know some people saying, Brenton Doyle's overrated. I mean, he had a one good year. It was a fluke year. No, Brenton Doyle, he'll be fine. He had a down year. I mean, I really see this as a sophomore slump because really when he broke out, that was his first full year in 2024. This year, I feel like it was a sophomore year. He'll be fine. So that's who my pick is.
I gotta get going.
Yeah. But anyways, Adam, thank you for coming on in. I'll wrap this up for you. But everyone say goodbye to Adam. Good to see you, Adam, and have a good day.
All right, bye,
see you, Adam. All right, I'm going to finish some of these questions for you all here as Adam heads out. Again, thank you all so much for your comments and your love today. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Jim. I'm going to go with Brenton Doyle here. I think he's going to have a bounce back year next year. it's going to happen. I mean, we saw some flashes this year where Brent Doyle was starting to swing a little bit better, changed some of his stuff in his stance, his swing looked a lot cleaner. I think he's going to get better. So that's my pick. If you guys have a pick, let me know. Ryan says here on YouTube, when should we expect Condon to come up in the majors? Again, we answered this earlier in a different comment, but I have Condon coming up later in the season. I think he's more than likely going to start in Hartford for about a week or two, depending on how he does in spring training. He's going to get some reps there. But I think we're going to see Condon at some point next year. And then somebody said about Holiday. Holiday, in my opinion, won't come up till 2027. Adam, if you saw earlier, thinks he'll be here later next year, which is, a little bit of a hot take, but I'd rather take it ease on Holiday. You don't want to rush him up too early because he's still only like 18 years old. So, yeah, let me get to some of these comments here on Instagram. I mean, the team changed after, but yeah, I mean, we saw, even though I know the record doesn't show it, we saw a little bit of a change after Bud Black left. It just felt like we were stuck in the mud, going nowhere. We were fine with losing, blowing these games. I felt like the Rockies, I might be wrong about this. I felt like the Rockies were a little bit better closing games this year, even though the Rockies were pretty much down every single game, right? The Rockies, whenever they had the lead, they did a much better job in holding that. And they were more competitive. And it does a lot to your team. And I just feel like Bud Black was holding this team. And I will say this, if the Rockies had a good or a better roster, I should say, my language is bad this morning, I apologize. But if Bud Black was managing a much better Rockies team, I would be fine with it. But given the fact where we are this year, where the Rockies are rebuilding, Bud Black is not a rebuilding manager you want to have. So that's just my take on it. What one free agent you want the Rockies to go after? I don't think the Rockies are going to be super active in the free agent market this year, given the fact that they're rebuilding. But I think they definitely need to look for potentially a starter. Of course, we're probably going to lose German Marquez. In free agency, I don't think he's going to come back. Get a spot starter. I don't know, like a guy like Cal Quantrill, like we did a couple years ago, or Chase Anderson, somebody like that throws sinkers. Again, check out our post on Rockies Now on our Instagram. Really good analysis on what pitchers do well in Coors Field. Get somebody like that throws sinkers, heavy sliders, like a John Gray type of pitcher. Because the Rockies, and again, we're going to see Dollander next year. Palmquist is probably going to still be in the bullpen. I'm still high on Palmquist. Don't get me wrong. Son Sullivan, he could be a possibility. We might see him up. Wild the Innocent says, stuck in the mud or stuck in the bud. I love it. Love it. That's a good one. I'm going to save that. I'm going to share that with Tom and Adam here. Great comment, Wild. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of competition, obviously, in the rotation, and that's what Warren Schaefer said in the presser, private presser, I should say, the other day. There's just going to be a lot of moving pieces here, and even in the infield, they said that second base is going to be open for competition here. Senza's going to be in the bullpen, so that not sure about that. I'm like, okay, whatever, but I'm still kind of surprised Senza's still on the team, given the fact that he was the worst pitcher in baseball this year. That's just a fact. I'm not exaggerating. That was just a fact. But, I think it's just time to let Senza go. It's just like he's not going to be the guy he was in 2018 or 2019. Will Feltner be back? That is a very good question, Ryan. I have felt like it's been like 80 years since I last heard of Ryan Feltner. Was he injured this year? I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, he had an 0-2 record, 4.75 ERA. I mean, Ryan Feltner, I felt like he was going to be our best pitcher this year, but for some reason, yeah, so he was rehabbing. Looks like he had some injuries this year. Yeah, I'm trying to see he had like inflammation this year, I think in his elbow or shoulder. And that was a guy that I feel like, again, like I said, he could have been the Rockies' best starting pitcher. And I mean, Ryan Feltner had a really solid year in 2024. Let's not forget. I mean, he had a really solid year despite the ERA. Feltner, I mean, this is a guy that, I know the Rockies rotation is horrible. This guy could be our number 2, number 3 starter for sure. That's his ceiling. That's who he is in the Rockies rotation. I mean, originally we all remember when Ryan Feltner started, he was horrible, and we were like, oh, why is he on the team? But we saw progress for Ryan, and he's actually has a really solid pitch arsenal. I love Ryan Feltner, and hopefully he'll be back next year. So great comment there by Ryan. It just there's a lot needs to change, and as the Desert Outdoorsman says, we need a GM with winning background. Absolutely. Not somebody like Mozeliak, who did a horrible job with St. Louis, did nothing to help Arenado or this Cardinals fan base. And I'm a Cardinals hater, so I am kind of happy that the Cardinals are not doing well. I just hate the Cardinals, period. But yeah, I do not want anybody from the Cardinals organization on this team. Third base and first base, a competition for who starts. Well, third base, I think, might be Karros, but again, we're going to see some competition, man. I mean, Condon, he could move over to third base, even first base. I think I'm not sure. I know some of y'all like Toglia. I mean, I do like Toglia. He's a great guy and everything, but it's just like, when is he going to click? I feel like it's kind of like Brendan Rodgers all over again. Like, Michael Toglia's development wasn't great, despite he has some really good solid numbers in the minor leagues when he was coming up. Toglia, man, it's just like, this guy, what are we doing here? His strikeout numbers are arguably one of the worst in baseball. It's just like, I don't think he's part of the future, sadly. And Toglia was supposed to be the next, quote, Todd Helton type of guy at first base. I mean, he was the first round first baseman the Rockies had drafted since Todd Helton. Again, this is when I wish I had Tom on here because he would know, but yeah, man, it's sad to see what's happened with Toglia here, but there's going to be competition there, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it, but this is what happens where you go through a rebuild, and hopefully we get stuff together here for the Rockies, and I'm excited. I think, I'm not saying the Rockies are going to do like what the White Sox did this year, where they drastically improved. I mean, the White Sox did lose over 100 games as well this year, but hey, there was progress for Chicago, and I think there's definitely some hope there in the South Side. For Tom's White Sox. The real Eric Brown says, good old boy Monfort won't hire a woman, but yeah, I 100% agree with you, Eric, that I mentioned it. Kim would be a great hire. She did a great job with Miami, but again, Miami's ownership is horrible, and they don't want to win. They have solid players. They have, Alcantara, who is out. He's going to be going, if he's already out right now. I think he's already a free agent. But they had a really good rotation a couple years ago, did nothing with it. They did make the playoffs in 2023 or 2024. And then and I think that was her last year, I believe, as GM. But you look what she did. I mean, she has Skip Schumacher. I mean, you look at the Marlins, man. I mean, again, in that division with the Braves and the Phillies and the Mets, like, come on, like that's something that you had 4 teams in that division that could have definitely made the playoffs. Obviously, you can't because of baseball and the postseason rules and everything. But the NL East that year was solid, and the NL West this year. I mean, obviously, we know the Giants were in the race for a while. The Padres are going to be there, the Diamondbacks, but I don't know. Are the Diamondbacks going to be back next year? Do you think they're? I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in Arizona right now, guys. That's not going well. San Francisco, we never know what they're doing. Like, are they competing? Are they rebuilding? We don't know. This year, they were trying to compete, and I feel like every year the Giants fire a manager and they think it's their fault, when in fact maybe it's the ownership. I do think Buster Posey was great hiring for them to be in that front office. But again, there's times I do have second questions about that. Who's going to be the closer? I think it's going to be Halverson. Again, he's been out with an injury for a big part of the year. He'll be back next year. He'll be our closer. Vodnik could be in that role. Juan Mejia, he's an interesting guy, but I think he's more of a 7th, 8th inning guy. But yeah, I think it's going to be Halverson. So yeah, great comment there by Eric. Zach Veen, what's going to happen with him? I was very upset how Bud Black treated Zach Veen. Bud Black is just, Zach Veen brought emotion to the field, brought his swag. Bud Black is the type of guy that didn't like it. And we mentioned it several months ago when we did those shows talking about it. And you guys might remember it, but it's just like the Rockies need personality, and Bud Black is the farthest thing from personality. And Warren Schaefer loves personality. And that's why I'm kind of surprised that they didn't call up Zach Veen this year. But maybe they saw, hey, he still needs to improve. And there were a couple times this year Zach Veen was not doing well for Albuquerque, but got to give the guy a shot, man. I mean, this is what Zach Veen's been working for. He wants to be a part of the turnaround for this team. I mean, that's when we drafted him in 2020. He was the best high school bat, arguably, in that draft. And Zach Veen wanted to be a game changer, especially with Arenado leaving. This is a role that Zach Veen wanted. And I think we should definitely give him an opportunity, not just 3 weeks for him to, have fun in the big leagues, and then we're going to call you back down. No, like the Rockies, they need to give these guys a legitimate chance to play every day, like they did with Bernabel, with Kyle Karros. And those guys actually did pretty decently. Look, I know, given the numbers, not that great, but again, they held their own. Kyle Karros' defense looked great for the most part. We got Justin here in the comments here. Let me answer your question, Justin, here on Instagram. I think Kim was actually overrated. Bendix has done more in one season than she did in 3. And that's definitely. I mean, I will say the Marlins did not have a bad year this year. They were competitive. I mean, they did eliminate the Mets. I think Kim was great. I think she did a good job. And I will say this though, Bendix, given the fact that he was formerly a Rays front office personnel, that was a good hire in my opinion. And I think Tom and I talked about that last offseason. That was a good hire for the Marlins. Again, it goes to the ownership in Miami because he's done such a horrible job with that organization. The marketing is over there is horrible. They don't get any fans at their ballpark, and they could definitely die for what the Rockies get. And I'm sure, like Rockies fans, I'm sure there are a lot of Marlins fans out there in Miami. They're just tired of the ownership. They're tired of mediocre baseball. The Marlins, they haven't had the seasons like the Rockies have had over the last 3 or 4 years, but still, the Marlins are tired of mediocrity. But the thing is, though, folks, the Marlins are not in a division like the NL West. Now, they still have the Phillies. They still have that. But, like, you go back to the mid-2015s or, like, the mid-2010s, right? The Phillies weren't that great. The Mets weren't. I mean, they went to the World Series, but they were just like, they were kind of there. Of course, the Nationals were there, and then the Braves were starting to heat up. There was an opportunity there, folks, for the Marlins to really do well. And, I mean, they had Giancarlo Stanton, JT Realmuto, Justin Bour, Christian Yelich. I mean, they had that, and they didn't even make the playoffs. They were a mid-team. And I feel like if they would have had the right GM, they would have had good ownership. The Marlins would have been one of, if not one of the best teams in baseball. And they didn't even make the playoffs, which is a sad reality. And then, rest in peace, Jose Fernandez. He was going to be the next Cy Young type, like Paul Skeens type of guy in Miami. It's sad what happens to Marlins fans and the organization, because I kind of like the Marlins because I can kind of relate to them, even though they've won 2 World Series and we haven't. The Marlins are very much like the Rockies in terms of like we were both expansion teams in the same year. Both have horrible ownerships, both have great teams, but they don't go anywhere, So it's just, I mean, I will say the Rockies did have a great team in 2018, and, we were able to go, I thought, decently deep. We should have gone to the NLCS or World Series in 2018, but, thanks to the Brewers, Justin Brewers, I should say, it fell apart. And thanks to Jeff Bridich, who did absolutely nothing for us in 2018. Or that offseason. While the Innocent says, how fast do we think that they have announcement on a new GM? Listen, this should be a long process. It should be. I don't want the Rockies to come out and say, okay, this is our new GM tomorrow. That's not searching, man. And again, like I told Adam and I said earlier, I don't want the Rockies to be like, well, we tried, because they've said that, right? They've said that. Well, we tried. We tried trading this guy. We tried trading Trevor Story. We tried trading Marquez. We tried with Cal Quantrill. and they don't do anything. That's completely Rockies, and I hate saying this, but I would not be surprised if that happens. But at least the Rockies are being honest and saying we need somebody outside the organization, and we're going externally, not internally, because again, the last time the Rockies had an external hire out of position, I believe, was Dan O'Dowd, because again, Bill Schmidt, internal hiring, he was a scout. Jeff Bridich was in the analytics department. He was hired as the GM when in fact he should not have been the GM, even though it was at a time where the Rockies were getting better and we felt like, oh, Jeff Bridich was a great hire. You know, it's easy to say that, but in reality, it's just like it was another internal hiring, you know. So Justin says, Rockies, I thought outright have the worst ownership in sports. Ultimately, unless we get a Bridich back who actually cares about numbers, unpopular opinion, it'll be another nobody like Schmidt. Well, you know, but Schmidt was again, internal hiring. He was a scout. The Rockies, like again, you said, Justin, they need somebody that cares, but also has a winning history. And I wouldn't say Mozeliak from the Cardinals has a winning history. And not to mention, folks, again, some people might be shocked to hear this. John Mozeliak was originally a Rockies front office executive back in the day. And then I think it was like the 90s or early 2000s. So fingers crossed, folks. Let's not hope the Rockies make a trade here. Hey, we'll give you Bill Schmidt for John Mozeliak and $50 million. No, but Justin, I will say, yeah, I agree. Obviously, as long as Dick Monfort, is still there, it's still going to be very much the same. However, like I will say with this, and Adam and I shared this, things can change a lot when ownership decides, hey, I'm going to hire president of baseball operations, and I'm going to give the control of the team, of the GM, of the manager to my president of baseball operations. That's what Dick Monfort should do. And I think that's what a lot of us are hoping. That's the best case scenario. Obviously, I think the best case scenario for us is we want him to sell the team. But the next scenario, if Dick Monfort won't sell the team, okay, fine. You don't have to sell the team, Dick, but you need to hand baseball operations to somebody else that actually lives, breathes, and knows baseball from front cover to back cover. That's what should be happening. But again, ownership. Dick Monfort might not want that because Dick Monfort is a business owner. This is what he's good at. And he's a great business owner, but he does not know how to run a baseball team. That's the issue. He's a great business owner and a business runner, but he does not know how to run a baseball team. How do you fix that? Give the dang job to somebody that knows how to run a baseball team, a president of baseball operations, a good GM, right? That's what we're looking for. Should have hired Bloom. Listen, I'm fine with Bloom, but again, St. Louis, again, we got to wrap this thing up, folks. It's been an hour and like 12 minutes, but and thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you. We have almost 80 people in here, which is great on a Wednesday morning. And if you're watching from work, I love you guys. But yeah, it's just St. Louis, man. I don't know what's going on over there. It's a mess. It's just getting worse. It kind of reminds me of the Rockies a little bit. They had a great team, went to the postseason, didn't win any games, and then now they're rebuilding, tearing everything apart, trading people away. They're not getting any better. They're being mid. However, the Rockies, they're not mid. They're bad, but I don't know. But we'll see what happens here. Again, stay tuned to Rockies Now. We're gonna give you guys all the insights that we can. Again, I'm trying to see if we have any more comments here. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the next several months as we get ready for 2026. Obviously, number one priority, focus on getting president of baseball operations and then getting your GM. It should not be the opposite, GM and then president of baseball operations. And again, there is also a part of this that we should be excited. We're going to be getting an external GM, something that we have not heard in a very long time. I mean, you're talking, I think Dan O'Dowd was our GM in the middle, like right before 2007. I need to do my Rockies history here. I think it was like in the middle. It was like before 2007, if I'm not mistaken. It's like 2005. That sounds about right. It might have been even before that. But the Rockies, they needed to do this, and I'm happy that they're actually getting out of this. So, yeah. Again, thank you all so much. I appreciate every single one of you for coming on in here. We have over 73 people watching on X. Awesome. Thank you all so much. And then we have a bunch of people watching also on Instagram. Again, if you don't follow us at Rockies Now, feel free to do so on Instagram, X, and our YouTube channel. We're growing this thing. We're super excited about it. We're adding potentially some new hosts for maybe a new show. Wink, wink. And we have some maybe exciting news for next year for spring training. We're not going to release that quite yet, but you can do that with what you will. But Rockies Now, man, we're super excited about it. I know I do apologize on the bottom of my heart for not being as active on Rockies Now as we should have been. It's just like when you're the worst team in baseball and one of the worst teams ever, it's hard to post exciting content for you all. I love you guys, but it's just like life is busy. You kind of tend to focus on other things that make you happy and cope with such a bad year. But we're going to get back to what we are doing. We love you guys so much, and we appreciate every single one of you. And I'm looking forward to when things get better for the Rockies, and I think they will. It's just that we have to wait. Just have to wait. And I don't like waiting. None of us like waiting, but for all of us Rockies fans, I think we should, in many ways, I should say, should be happy that we're going to be getting an outside GM. We just hope that the Rockies make a good hiring, that they take their time. Don't do it tomorrow. Don't announce it tomorrow. Spend as long as you can. Don't wait until, obviously, we don't want to wait till like the first week of spring training, but take your time. Do like hundreds of interviews. Talk to a bunch of people, not just like 2 or 3 people. Talk to hundreds of people. And hopefully they do that rather than say, well, we tried, So, Wild, thank you so much. We're going to have fun. We're going to have fun this off season. And like I said, we're not going to try to spoil anything for you guys on here, but we're going to have some really cool people on the show. Of course, we had Gianna Girardi on our show a month or 2 ago. We're going to try to have her back on here as much as possible, maybe at least 1 or 2 times this offseason to talk some Rockies baseball. And of course, going into next year, we're going to try to have her on as well multiple times. So Gianna, you haven't seen the last of her here on Rockies Now. So, and Jim says, absolutely, it's about someone who knows baseball. Stick to the business, Dick, not the game. Exactly. Like, I'm okay if Dick Monfort is still the owner of the team, just not be involved with the business of baseball. Like, you can stick to your own business, your, building around Coors Field. That's fine. That's fine. I could care less about that. We want somebody that wants to invest in building a good baseball team. That's all. That's it. Do we want him to sell a team? Yeah, absolutely. That's the best case scenario. But at this point, it would almost be even better if he just kind of relaxed a little bit, took a step back, rather than make these dumb signings that don't make any sense by signing Chris Bryant to a 7-8 year deal, 142 whatever million it was. It's just like you don't do that, man. You don't do that. And so let's enjoy the today, right? Let's have fun. Let's celebrate. The Rockies are going to get a new GM outside the organization. Hear that, Rockies? Outside the organization. So hopefully the Rockies take their time. They interview a bunch of people, not just, like I said, not just like 1 or 2 people, a bunch of people. And again, I know some people say, well, who would want to be a GM of this team listen, I think there's a lot of GMs or a lot of people that would want to be like, I want to go to Coors Field. I'm going to turn that franchise around. And I'm going to go up to Dick Monfort. I'm going to stand up to him and say, you know what, Dick, enough is enough. I'm going to take control of this baseball team. I'm going to make this team a winner, and you're not going to regret hiring me. That's who the Rockies need. And I'm super excited about it because I hope that's who they get. And I don't want somebody that used to be in the Rockies front office years ago, went to a different team, and then is coming back. I want somebody fresh and new. Somebody from like the Dodgers, Brewers, Rays. I mentioned the Padres, but I don't think we would want the Padres, anybody from over there. But Arizona, probably not either. Arizona, again, I like kind of like the Cardinals. I see issues in Arizona. They're not having sustainable success. Am I saying that their World Series year was a fluke? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know, but they have a good roster. Don't get me wrong; they have a good roster. But yeah, we're ready to see some changes. This is a good thing, so we should celebrate it. Wear some Rockies gear today, folks, at work or wherever. And spread your voice, man, because I feel like what Adam said today, and he makes a very good point. That's why Rockies Now is here. I'm here. Adam and Tom and I are here to share our thoughts about the Rockies. That's why we do the podcast. That's why we allow you guys to comment with us every single time we do a podcast, every time we do a post. We want to hear your thoughts, because that's the whole point of Rockies Now. We want to build a positive, exciting Rockies family community on Instagram, X, and YouTube. And we're excited about the future of Rockies Now, man. We're so excited. Even though things have not gone well for us this year in terms of business or growth as much as we would like, we're super excited, and we feel like this is going to blow up, man. And so we're looking forward to the future. So, the only way is up, man. So again, thank you all so much. We appreciate you, every single one of you. We're heading on out here. Thank you for all for comments and the love and the support and everything. So thank you all so much. Have a great day, folks. And as always, go Rockies.